Hey everyone, this is my fourth video documenting my process of creating the YouTube music flow, and today's day 4 and I have made lyrics section for today's challenge. And what I have created is a complete prototype of all the three screens. So let's hop into it first and I'll show you the demo. So what I've created is basically now I can swipe it up or click and it will come up, and now I can hop onto the lyrics section and you can see there is a demonstration of how it will work. Now, I only took 3 lines because I felt that was sufficient to put across the point as to how the functionality works, and I don't need to like go on and make multiple variants of it. So you can see I can switch between them as well. And now something which was tricky was to get this back in the lyrics section as well. Like even if I switch the sections, it preserves how things are working, how the animations are working, and it doesn't break. So, in order to get to know that, let's start with the challenges I faced and how I tried to solve them. So, the first problem I directly faced was when I was creating the lyrics section, I created another frame and I was trying to basically what I did was I was trying to create another frame for this and prototype between these frames. And in that, I was trying to edit upon this particular instance. Now, this created a problem because when I was working with this, I tried to remove all these and then simply dragged on the lyrics frame right here. This was creating a bit of an issue, which I previously stated, that was nesting of frames. So I was trying to encapsulate in a frame. I was trying to encapsulate both of these in a frame, and so that I can eliminate this gap, and that frame itself can be prototyped between these two frames, right? So again, I was stumbling upon the same problem, which was nesting of frames, and even if the frames were same, I was not able to edit on it, and that is where it clicked that I could use property, and this was a perfect opportunity to create variants. I went and I made a variant for this itself. From here, I was able to preserve the animation while smart animating. So you can see there are only 2 frames, and in this frame, if you look at the right, I can just switch between both of these. So now tab options is a property I created, and in that there are 2 variants, which is the lyric section and the up next. And for these to work properly, I already had created Boolean property. So in order to switch between the tabs, I only need to switch on. Like now up next is selected, now it is not. So similarly I have created for all 3 elements, and I can simply just toggle it on and off. So now I can just select lyrics and prototype in this component, and it will translate over this instance, and now I can prototype over this instance, and it will preserve any animations which I do over this instance, whether or not it's a particular variant. So irrespective of the variant, the animations would work. So even in the lyrics section, it perfectly works fine. After this, where I faced problem was that I wanted to dynamically update this blur effect. So if we go to the reference image quickly, again I took it from Mobin, and in this you can see there is a blur effect of the current music. Now in my opinion, what it signifies is it acts as a signifier as to what music you are on. Now of course there is a element above which completely tells you, okay, this is the music you're playing. But when you're reading the lyrics, this thing in the background is acts as a signifier, and its affordance is being able to tell you that this music is being played by looking at the cover image, right? So it acts as an additional benefit to the user by visually portraying something, visually communicate something through the peripheral. So I felt this was very important. I wanted it to work dynamically with this as well. So if I just do a quick check, you can see that even in this, the lyrics are responsive and even the background is responsive. And in that, if I just hop onto this part, as you can see, if I edit on this component and I'll just change the image, wait a second, I'll zoom out a little bit so you can see all the changes. If I change the cover image here, you can see it gets changed over here, and even at the background you can see that the image is getting changed. So it works like an actual application should. Like if I compare it to an actual when it's getting implemented, we can easily figure it out as to what's happening. So I tried to mimic how actual databases work. So if we think about like how this application would be implemented while creating, it's very obvious that these lyrics would be taken from the database. So these things are editable and every other component can be, you can see change in every other components. So you can see like if I write something here, write a sentence. So you can see that not only here, but also on all these three sections, it gets updated. So that is in place, and even the dynamically blur effect is in place and it's working correctly. And also, if you see that there is a section here where things are getting faded away. So that was difficult at first in understanding. Just like when I was not able to figure out how should I work around switching between these two sections, I figured out that I can do it by adding simply a gradient, and I can use basic constraints in order for it to work. So you can see that these are nothing but basic gradients, and the background itself is a little bit of transparent so that the blur effect can work properly. In an amalgamation of all these things, they work perfectly fine and they look absolutely how they should in respective to the reference image I was trying to replicate. Finally, to conclude, I would like to just show that it's responsive, not only for this section, but for the lyric section as well. And as I move forward with more days of the challenges, I would like to expand on this flow, so which is the last section, the related section. And in that section, I would try to see if I face any other challenges or any other new problem which would help me understand the tool itself better. Thank you.